Dum, 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 dum,
Space between, space between, space between, space between.
What's going on? It's the Space Between podcast where we talk about the space between life and art, passion and business, what's happening now and what's happening next. I'm Pat Shand.
I'm Amy Shand.
And I'm Shannon Lay.
And we're back from vacation.
Yay!
Freshly. Well, Shannon wasn't on vacation.
I wish I was on vacation.
But in fact, right now, Ryan is on vacation.
Oh, really?
Does anyone know where?
I know. I didn't know he was on vacation.
He is on vacation in hell.
Stop.
Get me a souvenir.
Actually, no, it's not hell. It's purgatory. He's at that kind of precipice where if he works a bit harder and maybe does like 100 good deeds, he'll either turn into a dog and then do 101 good deeds, or he'll go to hell. All right.
Oh, okay.
So
all dogs go to heaven.
all dogs go to heaven.
True.
Did anyone get that the 101 good deeds of Eddie McDowd reference? Do you guys remember
Personally,
that
no.
show?
No, I didn't get
Man, I
that.
feel old. It's
I was gonna say because I'm too young, but you said it.
I could have the title wrong, but it was this. Well, first of all, do you remember Snick on Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Saturday Nick, right?
Yeah.
Is that like teenager Nick?
Yeah, it's like it had Are You Afraid of the Dark? It had all like the cool shows.
Ooh.
And one of those was the something, I think 101 Good Deeds of Eddie McDowd.
Yeah, I just looked it up. You're right, but I don't remember this at all. There's a dog in it and a little boy. I don't know this show.
Yeah, I think that the premise is a teenage child who is an asshole dies and gets he is just an asshole. He doesn't die. He gets turned into a dog.
Oh.
And what happens is that he has to carry out these good deeds, and if he doesn't, are you okay over there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Neil just pulled out the charger on the computer.
our cats are on
But
one.
it made me
They're very
jump
excited
because
that
I
we're
didn't
on.
know what it was.
Yeah, our cats are on one right now because we just got home. Oh,
Neil, you need to relax.
yeah. Yeah, that computer is so not charged.
I'm
Neil
gonna
might fuck this
get it now.
podcast up,
He
yeah.
literally he pulled it out with his butt.
What an asshole he is. So the cats are hyped up, but back to Eddie McDowd, okay? So he has to carry out 101 good deeds, or he's going to be a fucking dog forever. And personally, I might
So
just take the
basically
dog
Ryan.
forever.
It's- it's Ryan right
exactly,
now. I
exactly.
see.
It's Ryan's situation. But I might take the dog forever, right? Like, 101 good deeds is a lot of work as a dog.
Yeah, I mean,
That's true, but what if you consider a good deed just like letting someone pet you, and then they're less sad?
yeah, that's a good one.
But would you...
You don't have to be like Lassie, like saving someone from a well every day. Like,
Yeah.
Lassie's a great reference.
Lassie's a fucking tryhard.
It's a classic.
But
Remember Old Yeller?
the one where the dog dies in the end?
that one's the
The
sad
dog
one.
gets rabies or something.
Right. And
They have to.
we have to blast him.
The dad,
Oh my
I think, has
God.
to do it.
Remember-
That's so
crazy.
sad.
remember
Why would you
Cujo?
make that movie?
I'm about to say, imagine that screenwriter. All right, the plot is, for the entire movie, good dog. The end, rabies, fucking murder him.
Shit, on Nickelodeon.
Yeah. And that's
Snick
it.
at night.
That is it. I mean, yeah, imagine Eddie McDowd ended that way.
Oh my God.
He has 100 good deeds committed.
Then
He gets rabies,
rabies.
and someone
Oh
just
my
fucking
God.
pops him.
Oh,
So
no.
bad.
That is crazy. But all right, so just to get serious for a moment, I do want to reference something going on right now on Kickstarter. My friend Keith Thomas, who actually died last year suddenly.
man.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine. I was his editor on his creator-owned book called Screwed. He and I have stayed at conventions in the same hotel. He's a great dude. He passed away last year, and he was in the middle of writing this series called Into the Suck. It's this sci-fi series, and right now, thankfully, Keith finished writing the series before passing. He has 6 issues, I believe, written, and issue 2 right now is on Kickstarter. It's called Into the Suck. And it's already funded, so no matter what, if you pledge, you'll get the book, and I think that it'll be great to keep Keith's legacy going on.
That's awesome.
I agree.
100%.
And beyond that, what's new for you guys? I mean, Amy and I are just now back from San Diego, hence our cats being real flustered.
Well, I figured we could talk a little bit about the Grammys because it just happened 2 days ago.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
since we were on vacation, we want a little bit of a Shannon review.
It's
Yeah,
true.
because they didn't get to watch it, but of course it's all online and everything. They I don't know, all of the women, did you hear that they came wearing like white roses and everything?
I did not.
All right, so it's for the Me Too movement,
Yeah.
which during the Oscars, the women came wearing all black and everything to like promote solidarity and like everything like that. And this time they came wearing white roses. So that was really nice to see. And then Kesha did a performance where her and a few other artists stood on stage and like wore all white and everything. And I'm not even a Kesha fan. I don't know. All her music back in the day was just like party music and everything, but she seems to have like come back with like some new vibes and everything.
Definitely.
And she doesn't have the greatest voice, but the passion that she put on stage was like nuts. She was like yelling the lyrics. She started like tearing up, and at the end she was crying, and like all the other women on stage like Rihanna and people like came and like hugged her and everything. She was even making Rihanna cry. Well, they were all up there, so it was super powerful. And I didn't realize it until after that Kesha did have some type of court case for a type of Me Too story that had happened to her in the industry.
Yes.
I don't
think
remember.
That is why she took like a huge break from.
Yeah,
music.
exactly, because it happened to her something like shitty. I don't remember the details of it, but I do remember
think
her being in
Pat-
court.
Yeah, I mean, I know a bit about it. It's Kesha was tied legally and contractually to a producer named Dr. Luke,
Okay.
I believe, who was her harasser, and he had I believe he had actually assaulted her, and she was trying to get out of her contract for a long time, and I believe that if I'm not mistaken, just last year is when she began to put out new music, and that she was free to put out new music. It could have been the year before, but I know that her latest body of work is free from that situation.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which could be why there was a little bit of a change in the vibe of her
True,
music, because now
exactly.
she has more
Control
over what she's writing and putting out.
Yeah, that's
Right.
awesome.
Because
That's
you
really
like
cool.
that better.
Yeah, I liked it
Sounds
so
like-
much better. And like my whole thing about it was like, sign me up any day to watch a woman like yell on stage and put it all
Totally.
out there. Like
Oh,
that
for
is
sure.
what I'm here for. I'm living for it.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, and I think that too, if someone is in that situation, even if there's even if there's nothing else beyond a binding contract that you don't want to be in, any situation like that, once you emerge, you're going to produce content that is more personal, because now you have the chance to.
Exactly.
Right? So that's really cool to see her doing that, especially considering her situation there.
Yeah, that's awesome. What else happened? Well, to go like in a memey way, everyone on Twitter and stuff was like blowing up DJ Khaled because
Why? What did Khaled do?
They were calling him like a Pokemon because all he does is like repeat his name, where he's
Oh my
like
God.
Pikachu,
DJ
Pikachu, but he's just like DJ Khaled, you know?
Oh my god, someone please draw that if it
Yeah.
happened already.
Oh, I'm sure it's in the works.
Gotta be
yeah.
out there because they started joking about it.
Man.
And it's like people were tweeting like, what does DJ Khaled actually do? And it's like, he
Right.
is a beat maker and a producer, but like I agree that somehow he took his regular behind the scenes career and literally like forced himself into the limelight.
Oh, for
he
sure.
like just for some reason he's on the stage. He
In a
has
way, that's
yeah.
a skill of its
It
own.
is. It's like
whoa,
he
that's
really
some-
has nothing to do up there besides be a hype man.
Yes.
And like he wanted to be visible instead of just in the studio, and he actually made that happen, and everybody just lets him get up there and all he does is say like clap your hands, but like, or it's another one, you know.
yeah.
But like
And even I can
We
picture
the
what
best!
yeah.
Pat's like, that's my new career path.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know what? Khaled was one of the first major celebrities to use Snapchat. He made a bunch of viral videos on Snapchat, and he just consistently used it. And because I mean, before that, he was just like, it's not even uncommon in hip hop to have a producer who just does that. You know, where I believe Khaled's process is that he picks people to be on a track. He'll even, if he doesn't make the beat, he'll pick the producer, he'll be with them as they produce the beat, and he'll be with the artist as they write, as they perform, and he makes the hit that way. He assembles it piecemeal. And that isn't uncommon in hip-hop, and it isn't even uncommon to have someone do ad-libs. Like,
yeah, no, it's always existed. It's just amazing, like how far he's come. He put
that's,
a total
that's
face
what's
to
uncommon
it.
is he put a face to it.
Exactly.
Just like I can't picture like Metro Boomin. I can't picture any of the DJs. Like the one DJ I can picture is like Funkmaster Flex. You know? But like he's been a New York City staple for years.
Yeah,
and
famous.
I mean now I can't even fucking listen to Flex. Like if you ever turn on Hot 97 at night, this motherfucker, he will play a track, the first 8 bars of a track, and then just go boom, Funkmaster Flex, Funkmaster Flex, and the shit just repeats over and over again. So yeah, but Khaled is the type of DJ who doesn't even do that shit. He makes the song itself, doesn't fuck around with it, and he's a very charismatic guy.
Yeah.
And he's a weird guy. You know?
It's interesting how like he's an outside person that like comes in and like is the hype man, but for some reason it just made me think about Pitbull, how his line is like Mr. Worldwide.
Oh my God.
And he's just talking about himself too. Like he just hypes himself. He's like up there to perform, but then he'll be like Mr. Worldwide and like hype himself up. It's interesting.
It is.
Maybe Pitbull is like if Khaled rapped and got shredded, right? But I mean, Pitbull has no bars. Though.
No, he doesn't have any bars.
Pitbull has no bars.
Which I know that, Pat, you were super upset that Jay-Z didn't win.
Yeah, I mean, I think that both me and Amy, right?
I love that last album.
Yeah, 444. We've been, I mean, that's probably our most listened to album of the year, you think,
Definitely.
Right? Yeah, and I just think it's such a unique body of work. I mean, Jay-Z.
I've been driving to work at like 6:30 in the morning listening to that album and literally been brought to tears being like, he is such a genius.
Yeah, me 100% too. That happened to me actually last week.
Yeah.
Where it's one of those records where like you'll listen to a song you've heard 100 times and then discover this new wordplay, this new meaning behind something. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
And it's his 13th, I believe, studio album, and to do that on record 13 is crazy.
That is impressive, and maybe that's where it went wrong for the people that were judging the Oscars. Like they needed to like look at his body of work and then realize what the greatness was there instead of just like taking it for what it was and then just like comparing it to other things that were out. They didn't recognize the evolution that happened.
Right, and you know what? I mean, Jay-Z probably has, the only rapper who has the same amount of hits as him probably is Drake. Like, the amount of Jay-Z songs I can casually think of from the last 20 years that were hits. Like, just going back to Hard Knock Life, Dirt Off My Shoulder, you know, just like to now, like every album has hit records with like Justin Timberlake, everything. And like, I've casually listened to Jay-Z. Like, I've heard all his albums, but I've never like honed in on a Jay-Z album like this one.
Yeah, that's awesome. Somebody said Jay-Z for president last night. I think it was Kendrick when he was getting his
oh my God.
thing.
Yeah, I mean...
his award.
We've spoken about this recently, Amy and myself, you know, about the celebrities for president thing.
Oh, yeah.
And...
I don't think it should happen. Oh, wait. It did. Whoopsie.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. Whoops.
Yeah. Here's my take, you know. I think that we're in a situation where... it's hard to communicate my thoughts, but I think that it's going to be a very hard fought election next time because I think that a lot of more progressive liberals have it in their head that everyone hates Trump. But that isn't the case. People who voted for Trump are fucking still down for Trump.
Yeah, they're still
I
dig 'em.
still see so many stickers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's all over the place. I see... That's probably the most popular bumper sticker out here.
Dude, somebody had a bumper sticker that I saw that looked like Trump was sitting in their back seat. Like it was a giant sticker of the side profile of his face. So from afar, it looked like they were driving
That
Trump
is some
around.
horror movie shit.
Yeah, that's intense.
What?
Yeah.
Who would...
We saw it
fuck?
like from inside my job, like across the parking lot. And we're like, what is that?
Like, I've seen, like jokey cutouts of, like, Bill Clinton, George Bush, Obama, but to have that
Some next
motherfucker
level
in the back of your
shit.
truck is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, my thing is this. I want someone who'll win, you know? And if that person is Oprah, if that person is Hove, you know, fine. Like, I'll vote for whoever wins the Democratic primaries. There's no, in my opinion, especially on this next big election, but at any point really, there's no room to fuck around with like voting independent right now. There's
Yeah.
there's one
just
chance
not
to win.
helping.
It's not going to help.
It's
You know, the idea that the independents have to vote like for the Green Party and shit
Yeah.
is that, well, they got 1% this time. In 4 years, they'll get 2%.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's going to take way too long.
yeah,
you guys.
it's like, well, if you get 1% every 4 years, cool. In 100 years, maybe the Green Party will be, maybe it'll be possible that it could compete. But I want someone who will beat Trump, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't want a nuclear holocaust, you
Yeah.
know? I just want someone who, even if it's someone with no political experience, like as soon as people started to talk about Oprah, the idea was no more people with no political experience. And I'm like, well, would you rather die on that bridge or have someone in the White House with both that problem and no empathy, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I would much rather have someone who has no experience and empathy, because if someone has empathy, they can listen, right?
Yeah.
Like, Trump isn't going to listen to anyone.
No, that's what, like, despite what anybody says about Obama, like, nobody can say that he wasn't an empathetic guy. He would do the saying sorries for mass shootings things when they were happening with, like, the school or here or there. And he'd be, like, crying on stage. And it's
Yeah.
just like, that to me
You
right
can't
there.
write that.
Yeah, exactly. That was, like,
Absolutely.
him to the core. And it was like, yeah, the whole world is crying with you. We don't see you as weak because you did that. Like, we saw that as like, holy shit, let's unite together. So it's just like, you know, right there. Empathy is the key to it. You can't have somebody be cold as hell
Right.
as your leader.
Absolutely. I would definitely vote for Jay-Z. Kanye, not so much, you know?
Kanye, I would not vote for.
No.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
guys.
hey. Yo, Amy and I were driving in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
We heard the craziest bar from Kanye we've ever heard.
What
Was
was
that Kanye West?
That was Kanye.
Tell me that was not Kanye
And here-
West. Are you fucking serious?
I like Kanye.
Okay.
I like Kanye.
Me too.
I fuck with
I didn't
Kanye.
even know
makes
that was
hits.
him.
But, okay, and I told this story to Danny DeVito,
You're gonna have to bleep this shit out.
who's a friend for us.
friend for us?
Who's a friend of
She
ours.
is a friend for us.
And she said that we should hear the whole song in context. But what a start! I'm gonna say the line, you know, because like fuck it, like
She argued for him.
she said to hear the song in context. That we can't judge it off the opening bars. So
I changed it right away though.
yes,
Oh,
My
boy.
reaction.
Amy changed it and said, "I can't believe he gets paid more than I do."
Oh my god.
But
So
at the time, I didn't even know it was Kanye West.
Right.
Like I might not have said that.
right, because
But still.
Kanye.
I like his
Has made
college
classics.
dropout album, even
Yes.
though it's super old. Is still one of my favorite albums.
Oh, by the way, I'm not sure if I've spoken about this on air, but Kanye, I saw this video of him doing a Def Poetry Jam reading of of All Falls Down.
Okay.
Just like reading his verse as if it's poetry. Yo.
Is it awesome?
It brought out so much nuance. The
Nice.
way he delivered it, so cool.
That's awesome.
Definitely, maybe we'll post it on our Twitter so people can
post a link to
listen
it or
to this and then hear that. But the opening bars to this song are, now, if I fuck this model and she just bleached her asshole and I get bleach on my shirt, I'm going to feel like an asshole.
What? What?
And, yo, the
Literally
way...
Exactly. Oh my god.
The way
Is
he
this a
does it-
direct experience with Kim? Like
Oh my... Yo, right?
Yeah.
Amy and I just, like, looked at one another and I could tell she was disgusted.
What?
Yo,
And like,
What
I'm
is
not
that?
like easily like
Ever.
put off
ever.
by things like that.
I've never
I
seen
mean,
her
I'm
put-
easily put off, but not by things like that.
Right.
Yeah,
I was
but
like,
to just like be
what the-
driving in the car and all of a sudden hear that, you're like, what?
It was so sing-songing too. He said, now if I fuck this model and she just bleached her asshole. It
Oh
was
my
like that.
god, what?
crazy.
It was insane to me.
Stop.
And I'm shocked right now that I learned.
Oh my god, I
It
need to
was.
hear this.
Hold
I
on.
need to.
Keep it going. I have to stop Chi-Chi. She's starting to chew on my headphones.
Yeah.
She's like our youngest
But
daughter.
should we start talking about our trip a little bit?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so for Christmas, Pat got both him and I tickets to go visit my hometown to escape the cold a little bit and to go visit my family.
San Diego.
In San Diego, southern San Diego, and it was really beautiful. We were there for like 5 days, and in that time, we were able to go feature on an awesome podcast that everyone should go listen to or at least check out on iTunes. It's called the Purrcast with 3 R's. It's by it's Stephen Ray Morris and Sarah Iyer. They're 2 really awesome people in the LA area, and they're both like Pat and I. And I would say, Shannon, you're definitely an animal, a cat person as
Oh,
well.
hell yeah.
You love animals.
Hell yeah.
They're just cool, crazy cat people like us, and they host this podcast and they talk to people about their cats and about their own cats and everything. Just great stories, great heartwarming stories, and also questions, health questions and whatnot. It's really fun to listen to. And
One of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, and they seemed like great people when I was listening to the podcast. So I knew that when we were going to be in town, I wanted to maybe hit them up and see if we could go at least meet them, and socialize a bit, I guess. And I wanted to meet her cat, Samba.
And you did. Amy,
We did. We saw her.
Amy connected like a boss. Like,
Nice.
how did you reach
Oh,
out?
thanks. I actually just messaged her, and I felt really silly because I didn't know if it was like unprofessional to like reach out to her on Facebook or whatever, but she responded pretty quickly and super nice and was like, oh yeah, totally, like give me a little bit of your info and I'll look into it. And then she did, because I gave her Chihuahua's Instagram especially.
Yes.
That's our cat, our youngest cat,
Yeah, Chi-Chi's full name is Chihuahua.
Chihuahua the Calico. You can probably hear her now going psycho since we got home. But so yeah, we were able to go there. So we drove there, and we recorded an episode that's gonna come out like mid-February.
Yeah, they said mid to late February. So we're definitely gonna like retweet that and post that all over
Totally.
our social media once that comes out. And in fact, we've been planning a cat-centric episode where we'll answer questions about cats, give cat advice, and tell some stories about our cats. And we'll release that as a tie-in to the Purrcast episode once that comes out.
Yeah,
Also,
that's good.
I was
idea.
thinking maybe once they listen, if they do to the Purrcast episode, then they would have more questions about our cats and they could email us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, since we're keeping this podcast going, we're probably gonna have multiple cat episodes.
I mean,
An
they're just a
episode
part
for
of the
Yeah.
part of the fam.
I like how the Purrcast like headline is "We talk to you because we can't talk to your cats."
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's just like that's so good because
That is so
they
good.
wish they could just be asking the cats all the questions, but like
Right.
Yeah, they're great.
It was so cool. Like, we told the origin stories of all 5 cats.
aw,
Yeah.
that's so
It
awesome.
was so fun. Like, and it was special too because when Amy and I are away on business, on vacation, or even just fun, we missed the cats so much.
Yeah.
So being able to tell stories about them was so great.
It was lovely too, especially because it was right before we came home. So we were like all amped up about them, talking about them. And then like a day and a half later, we got to come home to them. So that was fun.
Aw.
Oh, yeah.
So the hosts only have like one cat, or how many cats?
Sarah has one cat named Samba in her apartment where they record.
Okay.
And she is kind of a queen cat, so she doesn't get along with other cats. So Sarah like oftentimes thinks about maybe like fostering or trying to get another cat to get along with Samba, but she's very like particular cat. Like we only saw her eyes under the little
she wouldn't come out
cupboard, and then she snuck into the room. But I felt blessed just to be able to see her, because usually she's hiding completely.
Aww.
And then Steven has a cat named Penny Lane. She's like I think she's like a orange cream cut. Like she's rare because usually orange cats are boys.
Okay.
But she's kind of like a creamy orange and white striped cat. And,
Beautiful.
and her name's
Pretty.
Penny Lane. We didn't meet her, but that's Steven's cat. And then his roommate has a cat named Buster.
Aw. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was just super chill. Because while we did miss our cats, we also, where we stayed, they had 3 dogs. And, you know, people think that we aren't dog people just because we're cat people. Because you know what? Dog people, sometimes you'll always see if someone posts a picture of a cat that goes viral, there'll be some person, I hate cats. But, like, I never see the opposite. You know, I find that, like, cat people tend to love dogs too, you know, like there's this stigma against cats that dogs don't have, and yeah, I like to break that stigma to show dog people are beautiful cats, you know, but also it was cool to spend time with dogs, you know. They had
They're definitely a dog home because of the way their house is set up. They've got like really nice outside area, big deck, you know, dog door to go outside and stuff like that. So like we live in the apartment, so we're like a cat home. So it was nice to do the switcheroo just for a couple days.
Aww.
Knowing that the cats are home safe, but just being able to live with dogs for a little bit was really fun. Especially because like for me, they were little dogs, so they're really cuddly.
Yeah.
And like
1 big and 2 little, right?
Yep.
There was Cooper, who was a big.
She's like probably, I want to say she's like a year. Oh, I don't want to guess her age, but she's not.
She's 1 year old.
Yeah,
she's 1.
She's full grown, but she's a hyper puppy.
Yes.
She's an Australian Shepherd. She's red and white.
Yeah,
she's
beautiful.
so pretty.
There's and then the second. Well, the oldest one is Rhonda, who is a min pin.
Rhonda, darling.
Rhonda.
She's like a 19-year-old
What a name.
miniature pincher.
19.
Wow.
She's so cute.
Small dogs
and
can
old.
live so long.
It's true.
Like
She's
a
getting
cat.
there.
She has 2 full moon eyes. And we slept with her. She's very tender.
But with the bed, like we had to pick her up onto the bed and pick her back down onto the bed. But once you put her on the bed, she would stay there pretty much. With you and cuddle.
She's like, I'm good. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
she
move.
can't like really see or smell, but she's got these really big ears, so she can still hear pretty well.
She's rowdy too, though.
She gets around. Like
my
she would
gosh.
try to escape the little fence thing and go down the stairs.
The way she walks is crazy.
This is how it sounds. Because she's just like always half falling down.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah. And
she's
then
like 8 pounds probably.
Oh my god.
oh, at most, yeah, she's small. And then there's Larry, who is
Larry.
what
I
kind of
love
breed
this.
is Larry?
Rhonda
She
and
is
Larry.
a miniature fox terrier.
Okay.
So she looks like a bit smaller Jack Russell Terrier.
Aw.
Or yeah, Jack Russell. But smaller.
And she has these chompers.
She always has an underbite, so she's all you can't see
Oh
this,
my
but
god. Yeah.
always her bottom teeth have a little row sticking out.
Yeah, just like a row of little white triangles.
Very
you
cute.
know? Yeah, so
They're almost square in the middle though, so she
Right.
looks like a little old human lady.
it's true.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
so cute.
Yeah, so it was fun to spend time with dogs.
They're great dogs.
And it was, all right, the biggest difference between San Diego and New York for me, oof,
I know
I know
what you're
what
about
it
to
is.
say.
Yep.
is the blood clot Mexican food. Yo.
Right,
Come
yeah.
on.
Exactly.
Come on. So good.
So good.
And in fact, all right, so I bet every New Yorker who has not lived in San Diego right now is probably thinking, oh, I know this great Mexican place here. Nah, dude,
It just
no.
doesn't compare.
It doesn't
I got
compare.
to visit
You know.
Amy and Pat
Yeah.
in San Diego like
Yeah.
2 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like they brought me to all the sweet spots, and it was incredible. And I actually wasn't even like the biggest Mexican food eater before that, and I fell in love with it when I was out there because we had it every day, like for
That's
every meal.
That's what we gotta do now that we're on vacation there. When we lived there, we'd get it probably like once every other week or whatever, you know, like.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
But like I grew up there.
Yeah.
So
true.
it got old, you know.
Yeah.
Like when I was in middle school, seriously, that was the thing. Because I grew up in southern San Diego. Every day after school, like from middle school, I'd freaking walk to the Elco. I'd call it Elco Tijan and get like a full plate of carne asada fries, and I'd finish it every day. Like I was like chunky in middle school because I would eat Mexican food every day with my friends. Like, it was the thing to do.
Yeah.
Actually, explain to the people what carne asada fries is.
Oh, it's so weird that people don't know what that is.
Yeah, I didn't know. Living in New York, when I moved to California, I didn't really know how to order Mexican food. And this was the first item I was ever told about.
So picture this. It's a plate of fries, like basically like McDonald's size fries, a little bit like,
Kind of
like thin and crunchy.
Yeah.
And then guacamole. And you can get packets of like with guacamole on the side and no sour cream. But I like sour cream.
Right.
So like sour cream. You can get salsa or pico de gallo, and then just like a heaping mound of fresh, hot carne asada, which is like seasoned, shredded beef.
Steak, yeah.
Steak.
And cheese, too.
Oh, yeah, melted cheese.
Cheese is very
course,
important
of
here.
course.
And yeah, the reason that I get the guacamole separate is because it's a big plate, right? So if you save some, guacamole on hot fries is going to kind of turn brown pretty quick.
Yeah,
you know?
very true.
But I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, who's saving?
How much am I saving? You know, how much am I really
also,
saving?
like, even as quick as, like, so much guacamole that it might make, like, the second half of your fries, like, a little bit soggy, so you like to dip it in there. So that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, but the taco game is incredible.
Talk about, real quick to another great dish if you're ever, like, in southern San Diego or Southern California. Carnitas.
Yes.
It's really good, like a carnitas taco.
And I had been told, I mean, I only really experienced carnitas before as the chipotle meat. And I'm not a big pork eater. But that's because, like, you know, I grew up in a white family. And as it turns out, the whites can cook pork. You know? It's an entirely different experience. You know, it tastes like nothing I've ever had before in my entire life. And it's a recipe that I would love to learn myself. I believe what it is, it's fully cooked pork that is then cooked again in pork fat, right?
Oh.
So when Amy described it to me, she said that it was fatty. And when I hear fatty and meat, I think negative, you know? Like, I think, it's going to be like chewy and gristly and stuff, but I had my dish, which that day was a pollo asada taco, and Amy had a carnitas taco, and
He was jealous.
she gave me a piece of her carnitas, and it was incredible. You know, like because the pork, the edges of it fry like bacon, but the inside is tender like a more savory meat, like say a chicken or steak, but more it was. I can't describe it.
Like the only way for me to describe it is like pork, but I know the way it's cooked.
Right.
You know, like because if you think pork roast, it's way different.
Oh, it is. Yeah. You know what? It's what I would say is it's similar to pulled pork, right? But if you don't drown out the taste in barbecue sauce, and if you crisp it up real fucking nice, so good. And yeah, but. The main difference between that food and Mexican food here is that part of Mexican food here, even if they get part of it right, there's one part that tastes decidedly like Boston Market. You know, like they'll put like standard corn in something. It's like not even corn that was in pico. You know, just like straight up corn.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm eating it. I'm like, no. The corn should be what the tortilla is made out of, not just like put in there, you know. Like you got that corn at Stop and Shop. Like, what are you doing? Oh man.
Yeah. So besides the food, what else do you feel like's different between there and New York? I mean, like, we know weather.
Weather,
but,
Yeah,
like,
the time of year right now, especially because I mean it is cold. Like at night, it gets down to like probably mid 40s when the sun goes down in San Diego, and you want to wear a couple layers. But it's not as cold, and like even the air itself, is not as cold. Like you can be like outside, like, oh, it's cold, I want to put a sweater on. I'm irritated about it in San Diego at night. Here at night, you're like, oh, I'm gonna freeze my eyes off. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you need to be in layers,
Exactly.
or else you're dead.
Yeah.
And there's snow on the ground. Oh, not anymore since we got home. When we left, there was still a bit of snow on the ground.
Right.
But
My favorite part of getting to go to San Diego was like to see that you can see the horizon at all times, where being so used to growing up in New York and stuff, there's just tons of trees in the way. I don't know, there's not really hills here, even if you start
Very
to go
hilly in San
upstate.
Diego.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's way more
yeah.
hills, but at the same time there's just, you can continually see the horizon over in Cali. Like, it's
When you
beautiful.
visited us, you were exploring. Oh,
Yeah, I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
in shock about like being able to see a sunrise and a sunset, and it's just
Beautiful.
like that exists everywhere. Yet here, it's always blocked from my view by trees. I can never see it. I'd have to go up high to be able to get like a good view.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, that was like the coolest part of. I don't know. It was so open.
Yeah.
Definitely. We watched the sunset. We were on a jetty called Cat Beach,
Oh yeah, Cat Beach.
hanging out with some feral cats.
that was a beautiful sunset. I took so many pictures.
Aw.
Amy and I watched a beautiful sunset together.
Romantic
And
as
then,
fuck.
and then we made out.
Right. With the
I like
cats.
how there's
the cats,
a
yeah.
dog beach and a cat beach.
And they're right across the way from each other. In the middle, there's like this body of water so that they don't touch.
Gotta keep them separate.
But it's natural. Like the cats just showed up at that jetty, and it happens to be right across from the dog beach.
That's perfect.
Do you guys hear that?
One of the cats just
You getting
meowed.
hungry or
That's
something?
Neil.
We just fed them.
There's actually food in the bowl right now.
Oh, he just wants our attention then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he just jumped up somewhere. All right. So, you guys want to get to some questions?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Whoa,
Neil's
there's-
question is, when will you put fresh food? In
Yeah. When's food coming?
Okay, so Katie Tui says, Katie Tui writes, based on what we had mentioned before, why is the sound mixing so bad on the new Justin Timberlake single? Who thought making the vocals 10 times quieter than the beat was a good idea? I just feel so confused. I haven't been able to leave my house since it was released. I don't understand anything anymore.
my
Where
God.
are we? What year is this? Are we human?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Which, by the way, he wasn't even at the Grammys. I don't know.
I'm not surprised because he's tripping in a new song. You know what? I know that I'm in the minority here. I know that you guys like it,
I
but
just thought it was fine.
I
Yeah.
can't get over
If I heard it without seeing the music video at the same time, I wouldn't have liked it at all.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like
good,
we got
good.
to see it with the music video, and we got to
Right.
get that whole like robot
The whole
vibe going
experience
on.
of what the fuck he was trying to say.
Right. I can't get over the haters gonna say it's fake. It's like, yo, you're a dad, man. Like that like if you're talking about a 2-year-old meme, that's a dad joke now, man. You know? I don't know. So I'm with
I
you.
just
Katie.
didn't know the Steve Jobs look that was going on when we're like, that movie came out a while ago with like Zuckerberg or whoever was played in it.
The song felt like an article from the like recent past, right? Which is weird. It was weird, but like, you know what? I think Justin is a great artist. You know what? His new album's called Man in the Woods. Maybe he has literally just been in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, like
He's like, wait, robots exist? He comes out.
yeah, like to him, like
You
Steve
ready for
Jobs,
this
like recently
futuristic
passed
stuff?
away,
Yeah.
right? Like, Neely, come
my
on, bud.
goodness.
We're recording a podcast at this bitch. What are you doing?
Oh my god.
You know what? He's like, you've been gone, and now you're not paying attention to me. All right, so Katie, I'm with you. And in fact, Katie is a writer who is co-writing a short story in Modern Dread with me. We did a story called The Comments Section, and that's going to be in Modern Dread, which is coming out this summer. We have 2 questions from 2 different people who happen to be twins.
Oh.
Okay, so maybe I'm tripping. Brothers at least, but I think twins.
Okay.
John Rossetti writes, how many second graders do you think you could beat up if they came at you in waves of 10 with a 5th grader boss coming in every 5 waves? You know what? So waves of 10, so that's 1 5th grader every 50 second graders. 1,000?
I mean,
Yeah, I would just probably beat up to. I would only probably be able to beat up like 5 second graders.
That's because you love second graders.
Yeah, just 5. That's it.
Like picture a second grader, right?
yeah.
How? That's a one-hitter quitter.
I mean,
True.
for you,
True.
for me and Amy, we might not get too many.
Nah, I mean, I'll have to see your bicep action later on.
Yeah.
But Amy,
No,
Amy has some biceps.
Yeah,
yo,
Amy
like,
is jacked.
God
But I
damn.
wouldn't.
They'd start beating me up. Like
And also too, like I'm trying to picture like what is a wave? Like, do they come at you in a line, or do they come at you?
Like,
in,
are
like,
I'm
men
picturing
marching?
from all sides,
All
which
sides.
would be like swinging arms, like knocking them out.
right? You have
you
to
know.
just like do a little cyclone.
Yeah.
You know?
And that second part said some 5th graders might come in.
Every 50, because it's waves of 10 with a 5th grader boss every 5 waves.
She's like,
grader
what's
boss.
this about? 5th graders?
Yeah.
So it's 1 5th grader every 50 second graders.
All right, as soon as the 5th grader comes in, I'm screwed. Unless I can like make fun of them going through puberty, like what's up with that voice cracking, and like
He
get
goes
them to
away
like
crying.
run
Oh,
away
shit, yeah,
crying.
true.
I might start to pull some like verbal abuse
I mean,
That works on
on
the
kids,
voice.
right? I'll be like,
I
fucking them
can't
up.
picture what a 5th grader looks like. You know, like how
they're small.
Which one
they're
of my
young.
brothers is in
Small?
5th grade?
definitely none of them.
Are you sure?
Yeah, the oldest, the youngest Troy is he's been out of 5th grade for a long time.
Oh, I suck at that. All right.
Amy is here's how Amy does with age. If someone
I just
looks
always assume one of my brothers is in some kind of grade because I have so many brothers.
Yeah.
also if someone looks 1 year older than me, Amy thinks that they're 50.
No, I'm just
Stop.
really bad with guessing ages.
I'm really bad with guessing young ages, like anything up to like 11. Like once they pass that, I can be like, I know that they're 12 or 13 or anything higher, but those young ages, I have no idea.
You're like, are you 1 or 6?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm better with that because I babysit. But like,
Yeah.
when I see someone on the TV and I'm like, oh, he's probably like 60. That's like, what the hell?
Yeah, I'm like, that person is my age, you know. All right, but I'll be a bit more realistic. I could take 500 5th graders. No,
Oh my
second
God.
graders. Because watch, like, I could keep knocking them out, but there's a point like, all right, so you're still hitting a skull, right?
Okay.
The skin
God,
on your fist
this
is
is
going to
getting
break down.
Brutal.
So
yeah.
you only have 2 fists. You have some feet, but that's going to get real tiring when you start kicking these
Yeah,
motherfuckers, you know?
kicking. I was picturing some elbowing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
elbow is good.
Yeah.
Elbow is good, but they got to get real close to you for that.
Yeah,
shit.
you're right. That's
They can start gouging, you
Yeah.
know. But so I'll say 500. How about you, Amy?
I said 5.
I'm gonna go like
Ooh.
10. 10.
Man, y'all soft.
Yeah, yeah.
Either I'm very wrong, or I win that. All right. All right. So Matt Rossetti writes, as an artist, it was easy for me at a young age to identify that I enjoyed drawing. What was the process like for a writer? And for me, it was just I started to read Goosebumps books. I read some with my mom, and then I started to read them solo dolo. And I wanted to write my own versions of those stories. You know, I wanted to write Monster Blood 5. You know, so I had my mom pull down a typewriter, and I wrote these 1-page sequels to the stories that I like best.
You did it on a typewriter?
A typewriter.
Get the fuck out.
Oh yeah,
My
I'm
God,
old, yo.
Yeah.
And you know what? I felt good doing that shit though. I was so excited
Yeah.
when she could break it down, and then
He's in a cabin in the woods with his typewriter.
exactly, I'm like
now.
Justin Timberlake, you know.
Yeah.
So then we got a computer, and I started to write Harry Potter fanfic. I wrote 3 entire Harry Potter fanfic novels, and
I want to read those.
what I would do is I would buy these these big bound journals from Borders. And-
I know exactly what you're talking about.
oh yeah, I would print out pieces of paper with the fanfic formatted, and I would tape them onto the pages in the journals to make a nice big thick bound novel, which I'm sure we have. Oh my
You gotta
God.
find that.
You gotta
That's
find those.
amazing.
That's so good.
And then I started to write original stuff, which began as thinly veiled fanfic. You know, I wrote Wish Stones, which was the Dragon Ball Z story with my friends' names replacing the characters. And then I began to write autobiographical stuff, which was pretty much just things that happened in my life formatted into the format of fiction. And then now I'm just writing original stuff and freelance stuff. But the journey was very much started by being a fan. You know, I was just reading Goosebumps books and wanted to do that.
Yeah, and that's interesting how that can spark that for you. Because, like, if I read stuff growing up, it didn't make me want to write it, but that was that side of you that it brought out a different story in you. And you were like, I want to tell this crazy story that could happen. And that would happen in the Goosebumps universe. Like, that's interesting how that sparked it in you.
Yeah, I mean, my ultimate goal was very dark. It was that when R.L. Stine dies, to take over Goosebumps.
Oh my gosh.
And you know what? Now, IDW Publishing, who I've written for before, is doing a Goosebumps comic. So shout out to IDW, you know.
Nice.
Wherever, you know, on the same page there.
Get Pat in there.
I love to make my childhood dreams come true.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
Now, Amy, what inspired you to want to be on stage as a performer?
Ever since I was young as well, like the question said, I would say that when I was really young, I was always in like group choirs, San Diego Children's Choir, and then choir with school, and I always thought that it was really fun to be up on stage and have my family come see, and it was nice to have everyone get together and make such a beautiful sound. And then after that, I was in theater in middle school and high school, musical theater. It's just always been a love of mine to be on stage. Even nowadays, I do open mic nights and stuff every so often with you, and that's super fun to do. It's one of my favorite things, and I did know that as a young person as well. So.
How young exactly?
Probably, well, I mean, when I was a toddler and stuff, I was making up dances and doing performances with my friends down the street, like for my mom and everything.
That's cool.
That's so cute.
Definitely.
See,
Ever
some
since I was
kids would
little.
be way too shy for stuff like that. I'm way too shy for that. But yet, for you, it was like you felt
Right, every time it's
confident
like-
or brave enough to be in public doing that and everything.
Right, even as far as like, oh, who wants to read this chapter out loud? Boom, hands up.
Oh,
You know, like,
yeah?
yeah.
You were that kid. Hell yeah.
That's cool. I was the opposite.
Yeah.
I was real worried to read out
I
loud.
like to read out loud.
That's so interesting.
Now, how about you? What made you want to be an editor?
Well, I could just go back to what made me be creative in a way. Because I even still see editing as like, well, the whole art is expressing itself. So
Yeah.
I feel a connection to that in general. And that's what makes me want to make products the best that they can be. But like where I started creatively would be music. And like, I used to play like acoustic stuff and solo stuff, or sometimes with a group of people in a band or whatever. But like that was always to express myself in a way. I didn't really write too much in a diary. Like I know, Amy, you've said before in other podcasts that you love having a journal and everything like that. And like I tried like a little bit here and there growing up, but when I started to make music was when I really started to like write down my thoughts and everything, but just in like a song form.
Totally.
So that helped me get a lot of my emotions out for a few years that I was doing that. I eventually kind of put it to the side, but that's why I connect to the comic book industry and specifically Pat's work, because like it's just an expression of himself. So as long as I'm around something that's creative and putting, themselves out there, I'm just going to connect to it either way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I started just with the intention to write, but now, I mean, I love doing this.
Yeah.
I feel like this is just an entirely different creative platform.
Yeah,
And,
it's all part of the same universe of creativity.
Absolutely. And I'm definitely looking forward to us like developing our YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
And to start, we have a fast food show that we're gonna do. I want to do some vlogs, perhaps. And yeah, I think that it's been cool to surround ourselves. I mean, the three of us, Ryan as well, with creative projects because I feel like it's just fun to do as friends too.
Oh, hell
Totally.
yeah.
It's good to get together and talk and, unwind and also express ourselves in this way.
For sure.
All right, and our last question comes on Twitter from G198. They write, Pat Shand, don't know if you'll ever see this. Spoilers, I did! But what's going on with Charmed Season 11 comics? Have they come out yet? What's the status on them? And the answer is there are no Season 11 comics. The company that I was writing Season 10 for, Zenescope, no longer does the comics. A different publisher called Dynamite now does them, but those comics are set during the TV show. They're written by my good friend Erica Schultz, and I highly recommend
Erica.
that you read them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Erica Schultz worked for us.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did a short Destiny New York story that'll appear in Volume 2.
Yeah.
And so my answer is that Season 11, I don't know, but if it does come out, it'll come out through Dynamite. Will I be involved? I don't know. Hit up Dynamite. If you want more Charmed from me, the novels will come out eventually.
Yeah, if you check out the last podcast, Pat talked about what the deal was with his last Charmed novels.
Yes, and as that situation unravels, I'll update more. But yeah, that's the best answer I can give is that right now there are no Season 11 comics, but there are new Charmed comics from Erica coming out through Dynamite. I think it's time to wrap up, you guys.
All right.
This has been the Space Between podcast. You can follow us at Space Between Ent on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you want to have your questions answered, you can hit us up there or email us at spacebetweenent@gmail.com. So again, thank you for listening, and bye, you guys.